Welcome to this Concept Explainer, brought to you by CBSE ScoreLab of ProfSam.com. That is ProfSam.com. Today, we're undertaking a deep dive into a foundational and frequently asked topic, interference from Unit 10, wave optics. Our mission is to understand this concept so fundamentally that you lose any fear of the maths, you remember the core idea for life, and of course, ensure you score maximum marks in your exams. Okay, let's unpack this. Let us start with a question that is so simple. Even a primary school student might ask it. If you take two identical torches and shine them onto the same spot on a wall, that spot becomes visibly brighter. Correct. We just expect light plus light to equal more light.
Yes, that's just basic logic. You're adding the energy from both, so the intensity should just, well, double.
Exactly. So here is where it gets really interesting and be counterintuitive. Why is it that when physicists use special, highly controlled light sources in a lab, overlapping those two light waves can sometimes result, not in a brighter spot, but in complete measurable darkness?
Wait, what? Light plus light equals dark. That really goes against, basic logic, honestly. If the energy from both sources is definitely there, at that point, how can the result be zero? Is it like a shadow or something?
No, it's not a shadow at all. It is the very heart of wave physics. The fact that light energy can completely cancel itself out is one of the most surprising facts in physics. And this principle is not just some lab experiment. Consider a technology you probably use every day. Anti-reflective coatings on high-quality camera lenses or, say, expensive spectacles.
Oh, I know those coatings. They look almost invisible, and they definitely make photos clearer by reducing all that glare.
That is precisely the effect. That coating is carefully engineered so that the light reflecting off the very top surface interferes destructively with the light reflecting off the bottom surface.
Destructively?
Yes, these two reflected waves cancel each other out, which means the reflection just vanishes, and more light actually passes through the lens.
That is incredible. So the tech actually works by deliberately destroying some of the light. Without understanding that light is a wave, capable of cancellation, that whole thing would seem like pure magic.
Absolutely. So what does this all mean for us? The core idea is simple. Light is a wave. And when any two waves meet, they obey the principle of superposition. They don't just add brightness like particles would. They either amplify, so they get brighter, or they annihilate, getting dark, all depending on their alignment.
So whether they amplify or cancel depends entirely on this alignment. But that brings me back to my first question. Why don't my two study lamps create these dark patterns? I have two powerful lights, but I see no dark fringes anywhere. The room is just bright.
That is the single most critical insight. It's what separates the lab experiment from everyday life, and it is the key to interference. For this specific, observable, and stable pattern of bright and dark regions to be visible, the two waves must be coherent. Your study lamps are incoherent.
Coherent. That's the crucial term then. Can you explain coherence in a way that really connect with the wave idea?
Certainly. Let's go back to our main analogy, the water ripple model. Imagine dropping two pebbles into a still pond. Now, for coherence, you need two conditions. First, same size pebbles, so same frequency, same wavelength. Second, and this is the hard part, you have to drop both pebbles with perfect timing every single time so that their peaks and troughs maintain a constant phase difference.
A constant phase difference?
Yes. It might be 0 or 180 degrees, but it must not change randomly.
Okay. So coherence is about ordered timing. My study lamps are incoherent because they're just emitting light waves totally randomly, so the phase difference between them is constantly changing. Billions of times a second, maybe.
Precisely. The light from a bulb is emitted by billions of individual atoms at random times. Totally incoherent. You need specialized sources, like a laser, to get that constant phase relationship you need for a stable interference pattern. Now, let's visualize this with the ripple analogy. When the crests, the peaks of the two ripples meet, they add up. The water rises higher. That perfect alignment is constructive interference.
And if a crest from one meets the trough, the valley from the other, they cancel out. The water stays perfectly flat.
Yes, and that's destructive interference. That alternating pattern you see on the water surface, high water then flat water, is the visual for the bright fringes and dark fringes we see with light. This whole concept is why wave optics is necessary. Geometric optics can't explain those dark bands. For a strong mental image, just visualize two identical sine wave graphs. Overlay them. When their peaks align perfectly, say 0-degree phase difference, they combine. You get a single, taller wave with double the amplitude.
Which means 4 times the intensity, since intensity is proportional to amplitude squared.
Perfect. And when one sine wave is a peak and the other is a valley of a 180-degree phase difference, they flatten out to 0 amplitude.
Light plus light equals darkness. The vectors cancel.
That idea of vector cancellation is key. Now let us see how insert formally defines this. The whole thing is based on the principle of superposition. Could you please read the official statement from the source material?
Okay, it says, the resultant displacement produced by a number of waves is the vector sum of the displacements produced by each of the waves.
Excellent. The emphasis on vector sum is the crucial part.
Right, not just a simple sum.
No. Displacement has direction and phase. We have to account for both. And the intensity we see at any point depends entirely on the path difference. The symbol is delta between the two waves when they arrive there.
So if the paths are different lengths, they arrive out of sync with each other, correct?
Precisely. And that physical path difference, delta, determines the phase difference, which we call delta, through a simple relation. Delta equals 2 pi times path difference over lambda. The value of that path difference tells us instantly if we get a bright spot, a dark spot, or something in between. Let's break it down. First, for constructive interference, the brightest fringes. We need the waves to arrive perfectly in phase, peak matching peak. This happens only when the path difference, delta, contains an integer multiple of the full wavelength, lambda. The condition is delta equals n lambda, where n is 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. When this happens, the amplitudes double, and the intensity reaches its maximum. Imax is 4I naught, not 2, but 4 times the intensity of a single source. Right. Amplitude doubles, intensity quadruples. That's where the energy is concentrated. Now second, for destructive interference, the dark fringes. For this, we need the waves to arrive perfectly out of phase. Peak matching trough. This happens when the path difference is an odd multiple of half a wavelength.
An odd multiple.
Yes. So the condition for darkness is delta equals n plus a half times lambda.
Like half a lambda or 1.5 lambda, 3/2 lambda, and so on.
Exactly. In these spots, the amplitudes cancel perfectly, resulting in minimum intensity. Im is 0. Finally, the general case. What if it's neither perfect nor perfectly out of phase? The intensity at that point is governed by the general formula, I equals 4I naught cos squared of delta by 2. This one formula covers everything. Now let's try a quick, minimal worked example. It often reveals a hidden insight. Suppose we have 2 coherent light waves, both with intensity I naught. They arrive at a point with a phase difference, delta, of pi by 2 radians. That's 90 degrees.
So that's exactly halfway between perfectly constructive, which is 0, and perfectly destructive, which is pi.
Correct. Let's substitute that into the general formula. I equals 4I naught cos squared of delta by 2. Since delta is pi by 2, then delta by 2 is pi by 4.
And cos of pi by 4 is 1 over root 2.
Yes. So we calculate the intensity, I equals 4I naught times 1 over root 2 squared. Squaring 1 over root 2 gives us 1 by 2. So the resultant intensity is 4I naught times 1/2, which is exactly 2I naught.
Wait a minute. 2I naught? Isn't that just the same intensity I'd get from adding 2 ordinary incoherent study lamps? I naught plus I naught. What does that tell us about interference?
That is the beautiful conceptual connection. The result 2I naught at that point shows that interference isn't creating new energy, it's just redistributing it. The energy that disappears from the dark spots where intensity is 0 is precisely the energy being piled up at the bright spots where intensity is 4I naught. The average intensity across the whole pattern is still 2I naught. Coherence just causes this dramatic variation, this pattern. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this idea of waves reinforcing or canceling is the absolute key to understanding the next major topic, diffraction.
So when we study diffraction, we're using these same core ideas of path difference and superposition, but just applied differently.
Exactly. In diffraction, it's the same principle, but applied to millions of wavelets coming from a single continuous slit. Interference is the foundation. Hope everything is clear so far. This concept explainer is from ProfSam.com. That is ProfSam.com. Okay, now for the exam-killing misconceptions. The silent killers. These are the points where students frequently misunderstand and lose easy marks, even if they know the formulas. Misconception 1. Brightness confusion. Many students think if 2 light sources are coherent, they must automatically make everything as bright as possible.
But that's wrong. Now I get it. Coherence just means the phase is constant. It doesn't mean the phase is 0. If that constant phase difference happens to be 180 degrees, the result is darkness, not brightness.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Coherence is the difference between just having brightness and creating a high contrast pattern. The pattern has both dark 0 intensity regions and bright 4I naught regions. Remember that. Coherence enables the pattern. Misconception 2. Absence versus cancellation. This one is conceptually dangerous. Students think dark fringes happen where no light arrives, like a shadow.
That seems logical, though, doesn't it? Darkness means no light. How is that dangerous?
It's dangerous because it implies no energy is there. The corrected idea is that dark fringes are regions where light from both sources is present, but it cancels out. Imagine this. You're looking at a dark fringe in an experiment. If you suddenly cover one of the sources, say slit 1, the dark fringe immediately vanishes. The spot instantly becomes bright, lit only by slit 2.
Wow.
This proves light was there all along. It was just being annihilated by the second source. So dark fringes mean cancellation, not absence.
Cancellation, not absence. Got it.
To anchor this for life and for the exams, here are our simple memory anchors. First, a phrase to summarize the conditions. Path difference in wavelengths determines the fate. Integer bright, half on dark. If you just remember that phrase, you'll instantly recall the 2 mathematical conditions.
That's very helpful. It connects the math, the delta, directly to the result.
Excellent. Now, a physical gesture. Try this. Clap your hands in perfect rhythm, meeting at the same time. That loud, synchronized sound represents constructive interference, high energy.
Okay, simple enough.
Now, try clapping with one hand delayed by half a cycle. One hand moves up while the other moves down.
The sound, it sort of muddles out. It's much quieter.
It cancels, right. That represents destructive interference, cancellation and darkness. Use that feeling to remember in phase and out of phase. Okay, so to summarize our deep dive into interference, let us review the 3 most crucial exam-safe points. First, the existence of a stable interference pattern. It is irrevocable proof that light behaves as a wave. Cancellation is impossible for particles. That's the big idea. Second, for constructive interference, the bright fringes, the path difference must be an integer multiple of the wavelength, delta equals n lambda. And third, for destructive interference, the dark fringes, the path difference must be an odd multiple of half the wavelength, delta equals n plus a half times lambda. To get maximum marks in 12th CBSE Physics, Chemistry, and Maths, visit ProfSam.com.
That is P-R-O-F, Sam, right?
Yes, ProfSam.com. Thank you for joining us for this explainer. Keep diving deep into physics.